Hello and welcome back to your science class, my dear students. So, uh, we were discussing the topic that is sorting materials into groups, and we had discussed few topics. I've explained few topics to you earlier. So, I'm again sharing this presentation along with you so that we all can start with today's class. Fine. So, this all we had completed. So let us move straight away to the topic, to our today's topic. So classification of living and non-living objects. Okay, I gave you homework yesterday. First question, group the following objects into round shaped and other shapes, eatables and non-eatables. And second question was find the odd one out from the following. So I hope all of you have completed these two questions. Okay, these two questions you have to do in your fair copy, science copy. Okay. Okay. So let us come to our today's topic, that is material. So I've already explained to you that what do you mean by this term material. So what is a material? Anything which has mass, which occupies space, is called a material, है ना? कोई भी चीज जो space occupy, जगह occupy करेगी, जिसका कुछ mass है, so that is termed as a material. For example, wood. Wood से क्या बनता है? Table बनती है, chair बनती है. So this wood is a material. Okay. So another example we can give is iron, plastic. So these all are materials out of which many objects are made. So now today we'll discuss the types of materials. So we'll be discussing two types of materials. First one is natural materials and the second one is man-made materials. Now what do you understand by this natural materials? These natural materials, these are actually naturally occurring materials ना, जो हमें nature से मिलते हैं. So these kind of materials which we get from nature are termed as natural materials. So what are the examples of this natural materials? See, wood we get from the nature, we get from trees, then coal, rocks, minerals, water, gold, petroleum, cotton. Cotton, आप सबको पता है, you all have learned that chapter fiber to fabric. Okay, so in it that cotton fabric say cotton fiber say how fabric is made, how that is all done, that you all have understood. Okay, so this is again a material जिससे cotton clothes बनते हैं. Okay, then wool, silk, leather, sand, soil. So these all are naturally occurring materials, which nature gives us. Then the second type of materials is man-made materials. Now man-made, it is made by us, that is why we can also call it artificial materials or man-made materials. So what are the examples? Iron, ठीक है, stainless steel, that is an alloy actually, तो ये हम बनाते हैं stainless steel, man-made है ये. Cement, again it is man-made. Glass, plastics, ये सब हमें nature से नहीं मिलता है. We do not get all these things from nature. These all are man-made. Plastics, paper, paints, nylon, polyester, sugar, brass. So these nylon, polyester are types of fabrics होती है ना, अलग अलग तरह के कपड़े होते हैं. ठीक है, चलो. So this was about the types of materials. Now we will discuss about few points that in our everyday life we use many objects made of natural and man-made materials. Now the points here to note down are, first one, the same object may be made of different materials, है ना? So the same object may be made of different materials. So I have already shared an example related to this. So let me show it to you once again. See here. See here we can see chairs and table. है ना? So in the first picture, the material used to make these chairs and table is plastic. That is a man-made material. But in the second figure, the material used to make the same objects, the same chair and table, है ना? वही objects बनाने के लिए, which material they have used? This is here they have used wood, which is a natural material. Okay. So this is a point which should be noted, that the same object may be made of different materials. Okay, for example, a tumbler can be made of different materials like plastic, glass, stainless steel, brass, silver. ना एक tumbler को हम अलग-अलग material से बना सकते हैं. Okay, so और examples भी हम ले सकते हैं. अभी we have taken example of chairs and tables. Then clothes का we can take, ना clothes can be made using different materials. So cotton, wool हो गया, then silk, nylon, polyester, इन सबको use करके हम क्लोथ्स बना सकते हैं. देन कॉइन्स भी अलग अलग तरह के होते हैं. कॉपर कॉइन्स होते हैं, गोल्ड कॉइन्स होते हैं, सिल्वर कॉइन्स आर आल्सो देयर. फाइन. देन यूटेंसिल्स आर आल्सो देयर. यूटेंसिल्स मतलब बर्तन जो हम यूज करते हैं किचन में. So these utensils, they can be made of iron, they can be of copper, they can be of aluminum, stainless steel, silver. The different materials are used to make same objects. Fine. Now, this was the first point to note down. Then the second one is, many kinds of objects can be made of the same material. Okay. Many kinds of objects can be made of the same material. अब यहाँ क्या कह रहे हैं? Different objects, various objects can be made of a single material or same material. So, for example, plastic is a material. We all know this. Plastic is a man-made material. Just now, I explained it to you. Now, it can be used to make different objects like cooler, tumbler, mug, bucket, pipes, lunchbox, toys, and toothbrush. So these are the examples. These all objects are made up of the same material, that is plastic. Okay. So some other examples also we can take. Just say if I here we were talking about the material plastic. If I talk about some different materials, suppose wood I am talking about. Okay, so what objects can be made of this wood? Chair, table, doors, windows, the bookshelf, book rack, you can say, almiras and cupboards, many things can be made. Similarly, paper, if I talk about paper, se kya kya ban sakta hai? Paper is again a material. So what objects we can make using this paper? We can make books, notebooks, newspaper, calendars, envelopes. So these all can be made using a paper. Similarly, leather is again a material. So the objects which can be made using this material leather are shoes, bags, wallets, purses, suitcases, sofa, etc. These all are made using this material leather. Fine. Now, this was the second point. Now, third one is, many objects are made up of a combination of materials. Fine. Many objects are made up of a combination of materials. For example, biscuit is an object which is made by the combination of three materials. White flour, that is maida, sugar, oil or ghee. Now here they are talking about few objects which are made up of various materials. जब बहुत सारे materials को combine किया जाता है, then a single object is formed. So here they have discussed an example of a biscuit. So biscuit is prepared by using three materials. That is, first one is maida. Okay, white colored का जो powder होता है, that is called maida. Sugar is also needed, and oil or ghee. So many other examples are there, like if I talk about tea, na, your mother makes tea every day, na? So what all materials are required to prepare tea? So we need milk, we need water, then we need the tea leaves, then sugar is needed. Okay, and apart from this we add some more materials, like if we want to drink ginger tea, है ना? So we add on ginger. So like this, various materials or a combination of materials is used to make a single object, है ना? Another example you can take for vegetable curry. So to make a vegetable curry, what happens? Vegetables are required, then salt, spices, different things are required to make a vegetable curry. If I talk about a ball pen, na, you all use a ball pen. Okay, so what about this ball pen? How is it made? It is made by using plastic. It has a plastic body, or you can say it has a metallic body. Metal ki body hoti hai, and the refill which is put inside that pen, that is made up of plastic. That plastic refill contains ink. ठीक है? So ये सारे क्या हो गए? Ink, plastic, metal, these all are materials required to make a ball pen. Okay, so these were the few examples of combination of materials used to make a single object. Okay, now so another homework is there for you. This is question number 3. That is, write the materials of which the following objects are made of. Okay, so what you have to do in this, write the materials of which the following objects are made of. So here a list of objects is given to you. Okay, and what you have to do is you have to write the materials of which these objects are made of. For the first one is pencil. Okay, now you have to write the materials which are used to make a pencil. Similarly, you have to write the materials used to make a chair. Now here see children, if I talk about chair हमने प्लास्टिक की भी देखी है, हमने वुड की भी देखी है. So you can write both. ठीक है? So more than one material could be your answer. You can write more than one material. ठीक है? These things could be can be made using more than one material. So this is your question number 3. Just note it down in your copies. Okay, so let's move on now. Okay, this is the next homework, question number 4. Now here the question is, write few things made of the following materials. Okay, write few things made of the following materials. So here what you have to do is, here they have given a list of materials to you, and you have to write the name of the objects which are made using these. Okay, so the materials provided to you are wood, leather, plastic, cotton, iron. Okay, so how you will do this question? The material, suppose we are talking about wood. A wood एक material है. Now you have to name the objects which are made using this wood. Okay, so you will make a tabular form, a table like structure. You'll make, divide it in 2 columns. The first column, in the first column you can write this materials. Okay, and in the second column what you're going to write? Things or objects. Fine, now you have to name the objects which are made using this wood. So what you can write? You can write table, then you can write chair, you can write door, you can write box, you can write any other thing which can be made using this wood. So you can just mention few objects and just separate them by using commas. Okay, so like this you have to do. Similarly, if I talk about this question number 3, how you have to do this? You have to again you have to make two columns. In the first column you are going to write objects, okay, because here we are given name of the objects. So objects and materials they are made of. Fine. So the first object given to you is pencil. Now which material is used to make this pencil? Wood use hota hai. Then you have that वो कौन सी pencils आती हैं आप लोगों की वो I think कौन सी होती हैं, I'm not just getting the name. वो metallic जो होती हैं, okay, that so in that metal is used. Then plastic pencils are also there. Some plastic material is also used to make these pencils. Okay, so you can write plastic, you can write metal, you can write wood. All these materials are used to make this pencil. So like this, you have to complete both these questions. Okay, now we have discussed everything about materials, about objects, about uh, why these materials these should be classified, why we should group these materials, है ना? So all these things we have discussed. Now the next is how this classification is done. अभी तक हम बात कर रहे थे कि yes, classification is important, classification should be done, but how this classification is done, है ना? What properties do these materials have जिनकी वजह से based on which we classify them? So if we talk about properties of materials, see, different materials have different properties. Okay, so we have to choose a material to make a particular object based on its properties which are suitable for the purpose, for which the object is to be used. For example, if I take the example of a tumbler. Okay, a tumbler is made up of glass. It is made up of a glass, plastic, है ना? ग्लास यूज होता है, प्लास्टिक यूज होता है और स्टील भी यूज होता है टम्बलर को बनाने के लिए. ठीक है? नाउ why these kind of materials are used to make this tumbler? Why not a cloth? Why not paper? Because we should know the use of the object. tumbler किस use में आएगा हमारे? We want to store some liquid, some water, है ना, in that tumbler, in the mug. So if I'm going to make a tumbler using a cloth, what will happen? If I pour some water into it, what will happen? The water will be drained out, है ना? वो लीक होने लगेगा उसमें से. So that is why if I want to store any liquid, if I want to store water in a tumbler, so what kind of material should I use? I should use a material which has the capacity, which has the property to hold water. Okay, so that is why plastic, steel, and plastic, steel, glass, all these are used to make a tumbler. Similarly, if I talk about another example, if I talk about a boat, boat, we all know that a boat is made up of wood. Wood is a material and wood is used to make boats. Okay, now what if I make boat of paper, a paper boat, what will happen? वो paper boat का क्या होगा? क्या वो float करेगी water पे? It will float for some time, but after that क्या होगा? वो डूब जाएगी उसमें. The paper, it will get wet and वो डूब जाएगी. So that is why I cannot use paper to make a boat. ठीक है? So these are some criteria. So these are the properties of the materials, है ना? On the basis of which we are going to classify all these materials, on the basis of the requirement of the objects which we are going to make. वो objects जो बनेंगे वो किस use में आएंगे? So according to that, we are going to classify these materials. So these materials are classified on the basis of certain properties, such as the properties which we are going to study in this chapter. Okay, so the first one is roughness or smoothness. The second property which we are going to learn is hardness or softness. Third one is transparency, translucency, or opaqueness. The fourth property is appearance, shiny or dull. So I'll be explaining these properties one by one. I'm just reading these for now. Solubility or insolubility in water, heaviness or lightness with respect to water. Okay, so these properties we are going to learn, and we learn to classify the objects based on these properties. Fine. So let us talk about the first property, that is roughness or smoothness. You all know what is roughness and what is smoothness, है ना? Roughness क्या होगा? Suppose if I all of you must have seen the roads and all. Na? If you touch the road, what will happen? How you will feel that it is very rough, बहुत rough सी है, बहुत it is very irregular, है ना? The surface is not even, it is uneven. Okay, it has bumps and it is not smooth. You do not feel good when you touch the road. Okay, so that is called a rough surface, we can say, है ना? So what do you understand by this rough material? It has an irregular and uneven surface with bumps or ridges and is not smooth to touch. For example, sandpaper or jackfruit, है ना? Jackfruit खाते हैं आप लोग सब्जी jackfruit की. It's actually it's a fruit, but we use it as a vegetable. We just cook it, है ना? Then we eat it. Then we eat it. So jackfruit is उसको आप बोलते हैं हिंदी में कटहल. Okay. So when you touch a jackfruit, have you seen it? The outer covering of jackfruit, it is greenish and it is very rough, है ना? So that has a rough surface. So that is why we consider it as a rough material. Sandpaper is को हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं? I'm not getting its name. Okay, but it is a paper which is very rough. ठीक है? So this is what we call a rough material. Now if I talk about a smooth material, just opposite to this rough material is this smoother one. So it has an even or a flat surface, free from irregularities, roughness or bumps, and is smooth to touch. Examples, plastic sheet or mirror. है ना? Mirror कैसा होता है? If you touch a mirror, it feels good. Okay, it is very smooth. There is no irregularity. There are no bumps on it. So that is why the surface is very smooth. So it is considered as a smooth material. Okay, so these are the differences between roughness or smoothness. Fine. Now children, here I want all of you to do one thing. Just note down these classification, the points which we are going to learn. Okay, so first of all, you'll put a heading. You will write classification of materials. Okay, this whole point, all the points you're going to write in your notebook. So you'll write classification of materials, then under it you will write all these points, that the materials are classified on the basis of certain properties such as roughness or smoothness, hardness or softness. Okay, so all these points you have to write, and then I'm going to explain these properties one by one. So you will just note down the important points from here. For example, here in this if I talk about this property, roughness or smoothness, here you are going to write the difference between the two. So just make two columns, divide your page into two parts. Okay, so on the left hand side you will write rough material, right hand side you will write smooth material, and you are going to copy these points and along with the examples. Fine. So this is the work which you have to do if you are not okay. So okay, so now let us move on to the second one. Second one is hardness or softness. So this is the second point, hardness or softness. Now materials can also be classified on the basis of hardness. Materials that can be easily compressed or scratched are called soft. materials which can be compressed or stretched easily are referred to as soft. For example, cotton or sponge. Have you seen a sponge? उसको अगर मैं ऐसे press करूंगी, if I try to do like this, तो क्या होगा? वो compress हो जाएगा, है ना? उसका shape change हो जाएगा. Cotton को same is with cotton. Cotton को मैं जैसे भी करना चाहूंगी, if I compress it, तो it will be compressed. So what happens? These kind of materials are termed as soft materials, है ना? So when I try to compress them, they can be, their shape changes. They can be compressed. These soft materials, they can be cut, they can be bent or molded, they can be scratched. So these kind of materials are called as soft materials. So the examples of these soft materials are sponge, cotton, then foam rubber, candle wax, okay, butter, chalk is also a soft material, you can say, clay, skin, feathers. So these all are considered as soft materials. Now, hard materials, materials that cannot be scratched, which are difficult to compress, which are difficult to cut, which are difficult to break, are referred to as hard materials. For example, iron, copper, okay, wood. So these all are hard materials, brick, stone, है ना? So these all are considered as hard materials. Okay, so here is a picture displaying soft and hard items, or soft or hard materials. If you see over here, soft toys. So I can easily compress a soft toy, है ना? Isn't it? Okay, isn't it? I can easily compress a soft toy. So I can easily compress this a piece of cotton. Cotton को लेके हाथ में मैं उसका shape change कर सकती हूँ. Okay, so that is why these are soft items. Now, if I talk about the statue, the span, these all are hard items. These all are hard items, है ना? So we cannot compress them. What will happen if I am going to compress a statue? If I try to compress a statue, उसका shape change होगा? No, no, है ना? I cannot cut it even. I cannot break it. Okay, it will not break very easily. It can be broken, but not very easily. Okay, so that is why it is considered as a hard item. Fine. So this is a picture showing soft and hard items. Okay, so today we have completed two properties. That is, first one is roughness or smoothness. Second one is hardness or softness. So just note these two down, and in the next class we'll be continuing with these properties. Okay, so till then just make some notes in your copies. Just jot down the important points, the important definitions which I am sharing along with you. Okay, and keep revising and keep